Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to part 2 of my post-marathon debrief. I had a lot of learnings from my first marathon, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and I want to go through in detail about what I think went wrong with my marathon, why, as proud as I was, there's still some disappointment in it, and why there will be a redemption marathon coming up very soon. Let's get into it. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I did do a full marathon breakdown. It's linked over here, and I kind of talk about how the marathon went overall, from the starting of the day towards where I picked up my injury and what time I finished. I have all that details for you in the video above. But today I actually want to go through what I felt like went wrong with my marathon and why I hope I can help deter some of the same mistakes to my other fellow beginner runners, especially those of you who are trying to get into your first marathon ever. So before we get into all that, the negatives of the marathon, let's get into the biggest positive I have and what I am most proud of from my marathon. And that is of myself. Now, I don't mean to sound like cocky or arrogant, none of that stuff. What I mean by that is I am a person that does not do well with long-term goals. I struggle to stick with specific diets. I struggle to do any kind of task for longer than a month. So the fact that I told myself I would run a marathon and I would run every single week for a whole year and complete the marathon, that is what I'm most proud of. It kind of tells me that I can do some things if I really, really love it and I put a lot of passion into it and I'm strict with my day-to-day. Hopefully, a lot of you that are watching that also are planning to run your first, that's what you should be proud of. The marathon, as they always say, the marathon is the celebration of the entire training. You put your hard work for the whole year into every single run you've done. So the marathon is a celebration. It's not the test. And another thing that I want to talk about is 26.2 miles is hell of a long time to be running, especially as a slow, heavy runner. I will admit I did underestimate this mileage. I ran 20 miles in my training plan and it was tough. I was dead towards the end, but I was like, oh, you know what? The last 6.2, I can run it. That's no problem. You know, the race day will come and I will feel okay. But I will tell you, and I'll be honest, it felt like an eternity when you're out there, especially when you have to walk. After my injury happened, which was around the 9-mile marker, the rest of the time I ended up walking most of it, and it felt like I was walking forever. So I would say definitely respect the distance. It is very challenging. No one can ever tell you or take that away from you. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, everyone's running marathons now. Not true, not everyone is, and everyone is still very scared of the distance. So the fact that you have done it, that in itself is amazing because 26.2 miles is a heck of a long time to be out there. So the part you guys have been waiting for, what caused my injury and my biggest disappointment with the marathon? You know, as I mentioned in my previous video, it happened on the 9-mile marker. I'm not quite sure what happened. I think that is the most frustrating part because I don't remember any specific instances where the injury happened. It just sort of developed as I was running. And especially when I was running fine, I thought my pace was great. I felt good. My heart rate was exactly where I wanted it to be. I felt like perfectly in control of the race. And all of a sudden, just this crazy pain shot through my legs and into my foot. And I had to just start walking. So I'm not quite sure what happened. That was the biggest frustration. But also reflecting back on it, I honestly do feel like maybe I could have pushed through it. I don't know if it was just the adrenaline talking at the time, but I felt like maybe I could have gone a little bit further ahead and then stopped and walk. I've ran in the shoes before that I ran in. I know a lot of people have mentioned that it could be the carbon plated shoes that I ran in, which is the New Balance Elite V4s. I had run long distances in those before, but my 20-mile run was in them, and they felt fine. I know I didn't notice any kind of pain or any kind of irritation. And I will mention here that as I started to walk and slow down my pace, I really did feel the carbon plate bearing on my foot. But at that time, I had already injured myself, so I don't know what it was, honestly. I can't blame the shoes on it. I also can't blame the pavement. But there was a one underlying factor, and that was me not mentally ready for this marathon. Not to say I wasn't excited for it, not to say that I wasn't looking forward to it. It was just the fact that I know my last 2 or 3 weeks of my training had not gone according to plan. I stopped working out as far as my strength training goes. down to 1 day a week. My running plan was also very inconsistent. Some days I would not have it. I would just stop running or stop halfway through. Maybe the pace was too fast for me. Also, my diet had just gone to complete absolute chaos. I was just eating whatever I wanted because I was making an excuse to myself that, oh, I'm preparing for the marathon. I gotta start, loading up the carbs, all that kind of stuff. But I should have told myself, you can't carb load 2 to 3 weeks in advance. It just made me a much slower runner. And mentally, I could just feel my energy wasn't there. When I felt the best run training plan was when I was very good with my diet and I was consistent with it. I had the energy, I could meet all the paces. But in the last weeks, I did feel like my training plan and my diet and my exercise all fell apart. I think that's what kind of caught up to me that day was, especially the morning of, I was just like, I don't think I'm 100% ready for this. But at the same time, I wanted to get it done because that's my goal and I'm here, I showed up, my family's here. I'm gonna try to just gut this out. So that is my biggest reason why I felt like it was a big disappointment, was because mentally I just didn't have it that day. Not to give myself an excuse, not to give myself an out. That is all on me. And at least I have reflected back and I know what I need to do next time, especially for my next marathon in a few months. I am going to be strategic around it and make sure I hit all my goals and stay consistent to avoid exactly how I felt during my first marathon. Alrighty, let's switch scenes into another part of the room and talk about a channel update. As you guys know, I started this channel about a year ago with the sole intent of documenting my journey to my first marathon. And after that milestone has passed, I'm going to continue to move on to my next milestone, and that is the LA Marathon. I'm not quite sure what my goals are for this, and I probably won't make another video to follow up on it, but I have been wanting to do the LA Marathon for a very, very long time. It's not a major by any means, but it is a huge marathon. I do live in LA County, so it'd just be great to be able to go out there, and I know it's a huge, huge marathon as far as how many participants there are, the areas that they cover. I think it'd just be so much fun. It will be taking place in March of 2026, so I will have plenty of time to get ready for it. I do plan on bringing you guys along for my journey with that as well. In fact, I'll be doing a weekly vlog, updates and everything. And I think this time I will change it up a little bit. I know last time I kind of just sat around and just talked to you about what my runs were. And there might be some of that, but I do want to take you guys out more in my runs, do some more, real reactions after a run and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'd be so much fun to do that as well. And of course, the shoe reviews will continue on this channel. I have become a shoe collector, especially for running shoes, over the last few months. It's actually ridiculous. My wife is seeing my office now and she's just like, you have 2 feet, but you have so many shoes to run in. And I agree with that. I have just accumulated so many shoes and I would love to continue to review them as well. I'll do some more first impressions. I actually have 3 shoes that are on order. One that is supposed to replace the Super Blast 2, which is my favorite shoe of all time. So I will do a lot of first impressions with those as well. But those all will continue, and of course the channel will continue as well. So please continue to stay subscribed because I do have a lot of cool content coming out. I have a lot of cool ideas that I want to bring to this content. So I think it'd just be great for you guys to get some feedback and also hopefully get some good takeaways from some of the stuff that I post as well. So, and of course, as always, I just want to thank each and every single one of you. I did sort of push back my marathon recap video by almost 2 weeks. I almost dreaded making it. As proud as I was of completing the marathon, I was still very disappointed on how I did. And your comments have just completely given me a new level of motivation. So many of you were just so encouraging, saying that, hey, a marathon is a marathon. You completed it, be proud of that. And we're going to keep on going and have next goals. And a lot of you guys were also motivating me that, hey, this is just the first one. You have plenty more options to go. And that it has really revitalized my entire thought process for my training plan. Thank you so much for your support and all this. And I'm really, really proud of my journey so far. And we'll continue to get there together as well. Thank you guys as always. And I will see you guys in the next one.